And we're live.
Well, hello everyone. This is Dr. Alan Weinstein with my co-host Dr. Randi Ross, and welcome to another episode of Building Your Wellness Brand Within Your Community. Today's episode is brought to you by Epic Consulting, making sure your electronic presence is all it needs to be, and Community Wellness Day. Every great opportunity begins with the first step. Take that step with Community Wellness Day and the system, the official marketing program of healthcare professionals everywhere, and the VIP app, the only application that allows you to bring your live hangouts just like this one to the desktop, iPhones, iPads, and Samsung devices. Our apps are so good, people are going to want to lick them. And of course, the new Google Plus in 10 minutes, a step-by-step guide to all things Google for your business. To learn more, visit tinyurl.com/Google in 10. Today we have a very, very special program and a very, very special guest. The program today is called You Got This with Deb Martin. Let me tell you a little bit about Deb. Deborah Martin brings with her over 20 years of working with and for chiropractors and chiropractic. In that time, she had the opportunity to touch the lives of over 6,000 chiropractors via coaching and facilitating a high ropes course in Colorado at Total Solutions. She is currently the executive director for On Purpose, the monthly audio subscription series that probably most people watching this are familiar with. And it's been created for the chiropractic profession, as well as the business program coordinator for the League of Chiropractic Women, or LCW. Over the years, Deb has kept in touch with hundreds of chiropractors via Facebook and looks forward to continuing with hands-on TLC as she prides herself on providing an exceptional customer experience. A huge hugger and karaoke lover. Maybe we could do some karaoke today. That'll be interesting. Deb lives in West Caldwell, New Jersey with her husband Jerry and their furry kid, which is a rescue, which I have to give her credit for that, Toby. With that said, I'm going to turn it over to my co-host, Dr. Randi Ross. Dr. Randi?
Well, thank you, Dr. Allen. Welcome, everyone. Thank you so much for being here today with us. And remember, if you're viewing this somewhere where there's a comment box below, let us know where you're hanging out from, as well as if you should come up with any questions. If we don't get to them on today's show, we'll make sure to get back to you with those answers. I'm hanging out from the Jersey Shore. Dr. Allen joins us from the very cold Berkshire Mountains. And our very special guest today, Deb Martin, is just a little north of me in New Jersey. Well, our guest today, this is very exciting for me. I've known Deb for probably just about 10 years now, and you know, I very humbly gave her the title of the most loved person in the chiropractic profession, and I say that with all sincerity. You could talk to hundreds, if not thousands, of people that have come in contact and interacted with Deb over the years, and everyone has something incredibly nice to say about her. It's very rare to be in a profession where you don't hear anything bad about someone. So it's great to have Deb with us. She has, as Dr. Allen stated in her introduction, she's coached thousands of doctors through, you know, a course building up their confidence to help their business. Those of you that have been to Total Solution, you all probably know Deb, and she now aids in the production of On Purpose, as well as the League of Women Chiropractors. So without any further ado, I bring you my friend, Deb Martin. Hi, Deb. How are you?
Hi, I am wonderful, Dr. Randi. I am thrilled to be here today. Thank you so much for the invitation. I got to meet Dr. Allen, and that's just a treat as well, so thank you.
Well, thank you for being here with us. And Deb, we're going to jump right in, and the reason why I asked you here today was because I really feel that you have a lot of insight and a lot of knowledge and a lot of wisdom that comes from the years of helping people make sure that they can be the best they can be, you know, within their businesses, within their careers, within their relationships. And I think you really bring a lot to the table. So, you know, you and I had talked, you know, earlier last week, and we talked about a couple of things that I really think are important to address and to, you know, to really chat a little bit about. One of the things that I really want you to kind of share with us is, you know, you often talk about people kind of I don't know what phrase you want to use, being in their own head, being in their own way, and how difficult that is, first of all, to recognize it. Then we have to acknowledge that we're in our own way, and then we actually have to figure out some steps to do something about it. So
Right.
why don't you share with us a little bit on how you would take someone through that process?
Well, a lot of it is uncertainty. So when someone is in their own head, they're in their own head, but they have a skewed vision of exactly what's going on. So I would say uncertainty is an issue, and trying to get to know yourself better and really look in that mirror and see, as I've said thousands of times, a hero. I see a hero when I see a chiropractor, and I don't believe that chiropractors feel that way about themselves. So they get into their heads where I have to have the perfect carpet, I have to have the perfect paint, I have to have the perfect this, the perfect that. You know what? Just go out and do it. Just do it. You've got this. Just do it.
Well, and I think that raises a lot of points. To me, really what that addresses is confidence. And you're right, and I think obviously this is a big issue for chiropractors, but I think it's a big issue for a lot of even just, independent healthcare providers, because you're not a part of some big group where someone's giving you a whole lot of direction. I mean, even if you're part of some type of mentoring or coaching program, you're taking the tools that someone gives you, but you have to do it, and you have to have the confidence in yourself and the skills that you have to implement it. So talk a little bit about how confidence is really probably the big issue, where someone can get wrapped up in my carpet's not right, my tables aren't right, my waiting chairs aren't right, when it really, obviously we all want a nice space and a good environment, but those are really not the important things. So how do you get someone to get beyond that when they're stuck there?
I just smack them, Dr. Randi.
Okay, I like that. I like that.
Sometimes I'm from New Jersey and people love me, so I can actually get away with a lot of slapping because they know that I do it with love. Just get out of your own head. The uncertainty thing, getting out of their own head. Just sometimes all this other gunk that's going around is just an excuse not to put that first step forward and do something. The first step and the last step are always the most important. So you just need to, okay, well today, I have a room in the house that is what I call my hoarder room, because I have to clean it and everything gets dumped there, and I make every excuse in the world not to do it. And chiropractors do that as well. And they got all of this gunk there that they feel like they have to concentrate on, and that's not the big picture. The big picture is having a relationship with your community, having a relationship with yourself, having a balance between your business, your clinic, and your family. It's all about a balance, and it's all about relationships.
Well, that's what we talk about all the time, that's for sure. That, we teach relationship marketing. And I think what happens is that and I'm sure you can probably expand on this, is that becomes like, I call it the excuse bag. So it's, well, I'll do it when my carpet comes in. I'll do it when, like they think it's like, the book has to be written before they even put the first word on the page. And it's just unrealistic, and I think that that's a problem for a lot of people. And again, I think it just comes back to confidence, and I always tell people, like you say, just do it. Don't even think about it. Even if you do it wrong, it's okay. Just doing it is going to get you past this. And
absolutely.
So, I know you've dealt with thousands of doctors, and I'm sure this is a huge issue that comes up that people share with you. It's like, it's almost like physically they can't even take that first step. So, other than smacking them, if that's not an option or it doesn't work, what do you advise them? In other words, sometimes people really need a very specific step. Like I can say just do it or don't think about it, but you know what? For some people, that's just not enough to get them to do it. I know you're very effective at getting them past that. Obviously, in the ropes challenge, it probably came up a lot. So what did you do with people to get them to take those steps?
Well, I happen to really love music. And one of my favorite songs is the Hero song by Mariah Carey. And I had an event that happened at the beginning of Total Solution where many, many, many years ago, back in '94, when I was driving people back and forth to the airport, and the Hero song came on. And it's a song that I love, I sing to, I just love this song. I love everything about this song. And I started to cry in the car. And the reason I realized when I processed this event that the reason I was crying was because all of the words in that song talked to me about how I felt about chiropractors and people that are in the health profession, where they're heroes and they just don't see themselves that way. So my first step would be, see yourself through your patient's eyes, your practice members, and listen to that song and really listen to it like you're listening to it for the very, very first time. You do something amazing that not everybody does, and you can affect people's lives the way that no one else can. You have healing hands. You have a healing heart. Have that same healing heart when you're looking at yourself in the mirror. That's the first step to getting out of your own way, and to really, really appreciate yourself. And you know what? You're worthy. You're worthy. You just have to listen to that song. That song is so incredible, the words to it, and it really speaks to me about what you're all about. And I am just in awe of. I'm in awe, and I am so grateful to be a part of this community.
Well, I think Dr. Allen has a question for you because he came back on screen for me. Dr. Allen?
I do, and Deb, you brought up the word heroes, and I want you to talk about this a little bit, because I think in the profession itself, this is a huge challenge, and I think it's also a huge roadblock and a stumbling block, and that is we have a tendency in the profession to take the so-called heroes, or who we perceive as heroes, and we want to be so much emulate what they're all about that for a lot of people they become paralyzed because they feel, well, I'm not that person, I don't speak as good as that person, they have, their act together, and all of a sudden they've put those heroes or so-called heroes up on such a high pedestal that it paralyzes them from recognizing that within each of us is our own hero that you really need to bring out.
Right. And I think that just listening to that song and looking in the mirror and just driving in that point is just it's so important. It's so important. If you put sticky pads around and just put hero, one of the things that to motivate people is just please realize that you're a unique individual. I'm a unique individual. Dr. Randi, Dr. Allen are unique individuals, and we all bring special talents to the table. I'm not a chiropractor, but I can help chiropractors get through some blocks. I've done it on the ropes course at Total Solution, and the way that I did that was you realize what the person is going to, the metaphor is to jump forward, jump into. And usually at the top of the pole, that's the thing that stops them from taking that last step. So once a chiropractor just walks, off of that ledge and says, okay, I'm going to do this, it makes a huge difference. But it starts from the inside, and it starts from looking in that mirror every day and believing in yourself and knowing that you're a unique person, that you don't need to compare yourself to anyone.
Well, and I think the next thing that I want to ask you about that kind of I think is a continuum of that, and this is something that you and I talked about as well, is talking, sometimes, especially if you have a little bit of a confidence problem, it's so easy if you're surrounded with people that are going to kind of keep pushing you down a little bit, whether they do it consciously or unconsciously. They could be your family, your friends, could be your spouse, could be anyone. So, I mean, I think we've all experienced that. It doesn't matter what you do, that, there's negative people around us. And I think something that comes with a little bit of age and wisdom is you learn to get rid of those people. Not
Yes.
something, I know I wasn't able to do that when I was younger, and now, other than my immediate family, which I kind of have no choice about, if you're negative, I have no time for you. So,
Right.
but that's not something that's easily done by a lot of people, especially if like we use chiropractors as an example. If you're a chiropractor and you're married to someone, or your parents or
Right.
whatever are not supportive of what you're doing, well, how do you suggest to people to kind of, either get rid of the people that aren't building them up, or how to limit the contact with them if they're immediate family and you have no choice?
Well, first they have to realize that they shouldn't be alone, and they needn't be alone. There are a lot of positive people out there and positive organizations. The LCW, the League of Chiropractic Women, is an incredible organization that I just got involved in last year, and it's just a positive experience. And there are philosophy groups, and there are epoch groups, and there are Dead Chiropractor Society, and the Band of Brothers, and it doesn't take much to find positive influences. And once you find the positive and get the positive and feel that vibe, it's going to be very, very easy to get rid of what's not wanted, because there's going to be such a difference in how you feel with group A compared to group B that it's not even going to be a problem. But first you have to associate yourself with like-minded, positive people.
Dr. Allen?
Yeah. Deb, do you think there are too many things out there now for chiropractors that it becomes difficult for the doctor to filter out, hey, do I need all these things? Do I need to buy everything someone's trying to sell me? There's now, 30, 40 different coaching programs in chiropractic. Right. Everybody's selling something, or, is it at a point now where we've hit the saturation level and chiropractors don't know where to go, what to do, because they're just overwhelmed, and as a consequence, they're throwing in the towel and go, oh, I got enough junk on my shelf that I never opened, that I never looked at, whatever it is, right, that is bombarding them.
Right. Well, try to find things that make yourself easier. If I may give a plug to On Purpose, if you have 500 documents on your desk and research and all this other stuff, that you're never going to be able to break down and read every single article that you want to stay certain in your profession and to stay abreast of what's going on out there politically and scientifically. On Purpose is a great tool for that. For a couple of hours a week, you listen to Drs. Kent and Gentempo talk about what's going on out there, so you don't have to read about it, you can hear it live with them. So that's always very, very fun. As far as there being an oversaturation, that can be a good thing and a bad thing. The good thing is that I'll start with the bad thing first. The bad thing is that, again, getting into the whole head thing where it can be paralyzing, and because there are so many, I don't know what to do first, so I do nothing. And that's a paralyzing thing. That's the bad part of it. The good part of it is that, pick one and give it a try. Just give it a try. And, coaching is a very, very personal relationship between the coach and the doctor. And that's a special kind of relationship. You have to find somebody who resonates with you and your beliefs and your feelings. If you need somebody who gives a lot of TLC, you'd go to one person. If you need somebody that really needs to give you a kick in the behind, then you're going to go to another person. So it's really someone who matches what you look for, still's going to push you and to get to where you want to be, or where you need to be. But you just have to get out and try it and find what's right for you.
Well, I think that that's a very good point. Sometimes I talk with people and they definitely need some kind of coaching service that I don't offer. Right. And, they'll say, well, I've tried this one or this more management group or this or that. And then sometimes I'll even tell them, just because one didn't work, it doesn't mean that there's not one out there that's going to benefit you. I will say one thing, though, when I talk to someone that's gone through, 4, 5, 6, 7 or more coaches or marketing programs, I usually tell them they probably need to take a look at themselves, because even a coach or a management company that might not be the exact fit for you still has something positive that you can take away and have an impact on your business and have some kind of positive growth take place. So I think sometimes if you're one of those that's gone through a lot of these to try and find the one that you think is right for you, you may want to look in the mirror a little bit and try and figure that out. But I know that's something that coaches that are listening know. You know, when you get a client and they give you the list of the people they've already been with, that's usually kind of like a big red flag. Well, I want to talk about something that I think that you have a lot of insight into, and hopefully this question won't kind of catch you off guard. But because, you know, you and I and even Dr. Allen have been doing this for so long, I want to talk about the difference that you think it is being a chiropractor today as opposed to, you know, 20 years ago. And what do you think's the same? What do you think, you know, is kind of industry standard that doesn't change? And what things do you recognize, do you think that they need to do differently than they've done in the last, you know, 10 or 20 years? Oh, Dr. Allen, I think Deb is frozen. Oh, wait, is she coming back? She just moved.
Oh, there she's back. She's back.
Okay, there you're back. You were frozen.
She might not have heard your question, though.
Okay, but we lost her audio. Why do you think that is? Right, she's not muted. Dr. Allen, any suggestions? You're muted now too, Dr. Allen, so I can't hear you either.
But I was muted intentionally. She might have to leave and come back in because the plug-in probably crashed from her sound. So she might have to leave and come back in using the same link, and then we can do a little tap dancing while she's gone.
Okay, try that, Deb, so we can get you back in the room.
Good deal.
I think Deb did that so she'd have a minute to think about my question. You know what, Dr. Allen? I'm going to pose that question to you.
Okay, repeat the question then.
So the question was, being that you and I and Deb have all done this for, you know, a few decades, what do you think is the same about practicing 20, 30 years ago, and what do you think is different?
Okay, I'll start with the same. I think the same thing that we saw 20 years ago, 30 years ago when I started practicing was that there's still a handful of people that are successful. The majority are treading water, and 20% of the doctors are sinking and going out of business and have one foot in the grave, so to speak. So I don't think that has changed. And I think the qualities of the people that are usually successful has not changed either. There are people that are very good. They have people skills. They have charisma. You could stick them anywhere you want in any practice, no matter what the socioeconomic area is like, and they will build a usually successful practice. And I saw that with Reggie Gold, my first chiropractor in 1967. And I've seen it. You have to let her in, I think, because you got the camera in.
Okay,
yeah,
right.
So she doesn't. Yeah, there you go. And see if that brings her back.
Am I on?
You are.
She's
Dr.
back.
Allen's just answering the question. Go ahead, Allen.
Yeah, so I think that's what's still the same. And what I think is different now about practicing is that in some ways, because of all the new communication tools, and because no longer is just the chiropractor down the street your competition, with Facebook, with Twitter, with Google+, now Oprah Winfrey is your competition because people become fans of her page. Starbucks is your competition. So there's a lot more competition. It requires you do a lot more things than you did before because there's just so much more that people are being bombarded with. And we're in an attention-limited society. By that I mean that there are so many people vying for our attention. The only way you can get someone's attention now is stealing it from somebody else. So you must be consistent. You must do it with high quality, and you must, make sure that you're out there more than ever, telling people what it is you do, who we are, what we're about, what our message is, and don't try to copy people like. And no offense to them, but I'm against people branding themselves by price because there's always somebody who could do it cheaper. You got to get your message out, your unique selling proposition, and don't be afraid to tell people what we do and who you are all the time. And I think that's what has changed.
All right, Deb, now we're throwing the question to you. Now you actually had a few minutes to think about it. So tell me what you think is the same that you've seen over the last 20 years and what you think is really different that you see in being in practice today.
Well, unfortunately, the thing that I've seen that's the same is the uncertainty and the not worthiness and the questioning and the confidence level that we spoke about earlier. That I think has definitely been that's the same, unfortunately. What I can say is different is the amount of females that are in the profession now versus 20 years ago when I first started the program. We might have had one or two. I mean, if we had 100 people in the room, maybe 5 female chiropractors. But now, in the years, I've been gone for 2 years now. So in the 2 years ago, which was 18 years after the program started, there could be much more, many more female chiropractors, the higher percentage than there were ever in the past years. So I would say that that's the largest difference that I see, is the amount of female chiropractors that are getting involved and are getting educated and are making a difference. There are a lot more of the, I mean, look at yourself, Dr. Randi. I mean, there are so many more female chiropractors that are on platforms and that are getting recognized, and that's just good for everybody.
Yeah, I think when I came out of school, and I'm going to give away my age here, in 1988, I think we were 17% of the profession. I don't know the number now, but I would bet it's about, maybe you know, Deb, because the the organization, are we close to 40% of the profession?
I would say yes, we are, but I wouldn't bet $1 million on that.
Okay,
I don't know, but it's definitely a hell of a lot more than 17%, and it's exciting. It's really, really exciting to see just the energy that comes from the women who are new to the profession or have been around for only 20 years and not 50 or 70 or whatever. They just bring another level of practice, whatever that would be, having to be a mom, bringing the baby to the office, that kind of thing. It's just, I think it's wonderful that they're showing other women that what they can do and how it can be done.
Well, Deb, I'm going to give you a couple minutes here to kind of give yourself a little shameless commercial before we start to close out the show. And I want you to tell people kind of very briefly about On Purpose, which I know has been around for many, many years, but as you said, is a great tool where it kind of condenses everything for you. And then also tell us a little bit about the League of Women Chiropractors that you just spoke of.
Okay, great. The League of Chiropractic Women is an organization for not just female chiropractors, but for CAs, spouses. There are, I wish I had the numbers. Right now we're at the organization is only 2 years old. We'll be 2 years old next year. We're already at over 700 active members, and we're making a difference. I would love for you to visit our website. It's www.lcwomen.com, and that's with only one W, so it's LCWOMEN.com. Please visit our website, see what we have going on, see what we have we're offering. We have a great new business program that we're launching this year, and we're really excited about it. We're making a difference in the colleges. We're funding research. We're funding scholarships for future female chiropractors, chiropractic students. So that's really exciting. On Purpose has always been a love of mine because it just makes sense. I remember when every time I try to order the New York Times. It happens to me all the time. Before you know it, I have 20 copies of the New York Times for 20 days that are standing in a corner somewhere that I'm not reading. And I found that that's the same in chiropractic offices. There's, American chiropractor and this chiropractor and that chiropractor and this research paper and that and that. And there's just no way that one human person other than Dr. Kent could really read everything that you need to read and absorb everything that you need to absorb. So he reads at an incredible speed. It's just amazing. And what he does is he compiles what he feels is the most important research information scientifically, and then also what's going on politically in the chiropractic profession. And he and Dr. Gentempo put together it would be a 3-hour, because it's 3 CDs. One is philosophy, one is science, one is politics, and they break down what's going on for the entire month. And that's really exciting. First of all, it's fun, it's funny, it's you could listen to it while you're at the gym. We have what's called On Purpose on the Go. We have, if you're still doing CDs, we'll send you the CDs, and it's a monthly program that really, really keeps you educated, and will help with if you're uncertain about something. You have the data to really make a difference in your community, because you can tell the story, because you can, you're more educated about it. We have we do a chiropractor of the month. We do a philosophy interview every month. We have PR pieces that we give you that all you have to do is stick your name in and get that into your community newsletters. It's just a wonderful product. It's always been fun, and it has been around for 20 years, since 1994. Oh my gosh, now 21 years. And it's a great product. It's fun. And again, it'll save you time. I mean, don't reinvent the wheel. If you have somebody doing all this research for you, there's no reason for you to read it. Just listen to On Purpose.
Well, I want to thank Deb Martin for taking the time to be here with us today. It was really a pleasure having her on. As always, if you're interested in any of the programs that we offer, or you'd like to find out how we can help you grow your business, have a bigger impact, just reach out for us. We're happy to show you all that we have. I'm going to turn it over to Dr. Allen, who's going to close out our show.
Okay, well, that was really terrific, Deb. I'm so glad that you came on the show, and very glad I got to meet you, which I never have before, which was really terrific. And I think you were really an excellent guest. You've been listening to Building Your Wellness Brand Within Your Community. Today's episode was brought to you by Epic Consulting, making sure your electronic presence is all it needs to be. Community Wellness Day. Every great opportunity begins with the first step. Take that step with Community Wellness Day. The System, the official marketing program of healthcare practitioners everywhere. The VIP app, the only application that allows you to bring your live hangouts just like this one to the iPhone, iPad, and the Samsung devices. Of course, the new Google Plus in 10 minutes, a step-by-step guide to all things Google for your business. Just visit tinyurl.com/Google in 10. I want to just put this on the screen again. This is that's the email for Deb. It's deb4426@me.com. On behalf of myself, Dr. Alan Weinstein, our great guest, Deb Martin, and my co-host, Dr. Randi Ross, we'll see you again next week. Have a great day, everybody.
Thanks, everyone.